Hi and welcome to the Studio Marco Primeau. Today we're going to talk about virtual instruments. Many of you asked questions about that on the comments on my YouTube channel. I read some questions on Facebook, on the Samplitude group as well, and on the forum. So this video will be all about it. Let's dive in. All right, a virtual instrument, VSTi. What it is it is a software that lets you easily access a collection of samples. So it could be recordings of a piano, of trains, or any sounds that you want to record and put in a collection. So instead of going to any little files or samples and put them in your project, in your DAW, there's some virtual instrument that gathers all those samples together so you can play them either on an external controller or on the VSTi directly on the virtual keyboard, or even go into the MIDI editor and put the notes by yourself. So first we're going to create a project and check the difference between audio and MIDI will be a good idea too, so you can comprehend the basics of it. So let's create a new project. I'm gonna name it test 2. So let's record some audio. I'm gonna talk to the mic which is right here. And first we need to select the audio input. So at the bottom, audio input. And of course, this is going to be a mono recording. So I'm going to click mono right here and select the right preamp input. Now, if we hit record R on the keyboard, or here record on the transport bar, this is a test of recording with Samplitude Pro X6. And if we play back, this is a test of recording with Samplitude Pro X6. A nice audio recording. And of course, if you want to know the file, you can double click on it to open the object editor. And if we go in takes, this is the file that was created, ending by .wav. Wave file. So this wave file can be played on any computer. I can copy it and it will play it. Where it gets tricky is if I have 1,000 of those representing all notes, every notes on the keyboard, on the piano, or any other things. So that's why virtual instrument has been created a long time ago. So let's load a virtual instrument. I'm going to choose this second track. I'm going to rename it VST1. This is going to be muted. And I can load it right here, or right here at the bottom in the plugins, or on the mixer in the plugins. So we can go in the plugins browser. The plugin browser shows either instrument or effects. We go into instruments and let's load strings. All right. If I try to play on the virtual keyboard, it won't work. We need to activate the monitoring and select mixer. Well, one of those three at the bottom: FX monitoring, hardware monitoring, hybrid, or FX monitoring. So I'm going to choose the later one. And those were the notes that I typed. So now, so if I want to send some information to my virtual instrument and make a melody, I would need to record a MIDI track. A MIDI language is a series of code that will instruct the VSTi to play the right note at the right time and so on. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to create a new track like this. I'm going to name it MIDI 1. Let's put the VSTi above. And an important thing to remember is to redirect our MIDI track to the right output. So first, we're going to say this is a MIDI track. So we're going to click on MIDI. And then the output should be changed for our virtual instrument right here. Okay. So if I hit record, of course, I can't go into the MIDI editor right now. We can go maybe like this. We select this track instead. And MIDI editor, you see I can't add any notes. So what we need to do is to create an object first. It's a bit weird now, but it's going to be easier when we use an external keyboard controller. But now I will hit record. It creates an object. And you see now, if I select the pen, I can write some notes. Let's go longer like that. And if I hit play, okay. Now, if I want to add some more notes, I can do it on another track if I want. So let's create another track. So MIDI 2. And we're gonna copy this object, remove what's in it, and we can add some notes. So let's see, maybe right here, the pen. Okay. Now the thing is, those notes will use the same instrument, the same adjustment and everything. But if I want one of those to play differently, maybe I want some legato like this, both will be changed. So if we want the same instrument, virtual instrument, but different sounds in it or adjustments, we need to load a separate instance of this VSTi. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create another track. So another track. And now it's going to be named VSTi 2. Like this. And now what we need to do is to load the VST plugin on this track. And I'm going to choose the legato on this one. And on this one, let's say this. Okay. But now, since we have two separate instances of the VSTi, we need to choose which one goes where. This will be according to the output of the track. So this one, the MIDI output goes to the first one, VSTi 1. And then if I go there, I can change it to the second one. And now if we play them, okay, not very pretty, but you get the idea, the two sounds mixed together. It could be another instrument as well. Now, the thing that you need to remember is that many VSTi has only one input and one output and one instrument at a time, but some have many, like independence. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to load independence instead. Okay. And independence work with layers. So the first layer is right here. We're going to load, let's say, a piano. Like this. And you see it says which MIDI channel it will receive information. So that's one thing to be aware of. Okay, it created a second track for the output, and this is the MIDI information that will go there. I'm going to name it MIDI 1, like this. And we can hit record the input. Now I'm going to use a controller, so I'm going to select every MIDI input. All right, I'm going to use a click, activate the click right here. And I'm going to play some piano. If we hit play, okay, so since independence allows us to add many layers, if we click on add layer, you see automatically it shows a different MIDI channel. So it's important for us because we can send different informations to different MIDI channel. There's up to 16 channels available per signal. So now I'm going to load a bass. Right. And on our MIDI 2 track, we're going to check, be sure that the output is independence, input is everything, so every external MIDI controller, and we're going to hit record. And of course I set the output to MIDI channel 2. You see MIDI 1, it was on all. I could have put 1. So you see the piano still plays. And then we can record. Activate the click again. Okay, if we go into the piano, you see those are the MIDI information. At what time, what note, and the velocity at which it was hit. So those are all the notes that you see here. And do the same with the bass. And if we want to see them both, we can click on both. So we see all the notes at once. And we can even show it on the staff, like this. Okay. So this note could be removed. Okay. So it gives you an idea. Of course, there's a lot of things we can do with that. If we want to export this and with the voice and audio information and MIDI information, the best thing is to freeze that track. So if we go into independence, right click, right click, we can freeze the track. And you see what happens is the Samplitude create an audio version of the MIDI data going through the VST. So if I solo, okay. So if I export my project, file, and export wave, give it a name, I'm sure that everything will be there. Also, the freeze function is good because it liberates some resources from the computer. So if you have many VSTi, the computer won't crash because it's doing it in real time if you don't freeze the track. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please click on the like button, consider subscribing, hit the bell to get notifications. Go into the description, there's a link to buy some merch. It will help the channel, of course. Another way is to play many videos and share those videos. Also, don't forget to put questions and comments below. It drives the channel forward, and I like to do some videos upon your questions, so I know that it serves a purpose. See you next time.